A lot of you, no, wait, let me say that right. A ton of you have asked me this question. How can I actually quit a bad habit? You know, like being addicted to online games, negative thinking, overspending, overeating. Gosh, there are just so many. How do we get rid of these bad habits? Now, to be fair, you already know how harmful these habits are. You know they're not good for you. You want to stop, but somehow you just can't. And that's so frustrating, isn't it? I totally get it, my friends. I really do. So, in this episode, I'm going to show you a method that can actually help you break bad habits. And listen, this isn't just a hack or a trick. This is a method that's backed by real science. All right, let's dive in. To make it easier for you to follow, I'll divide this talk into two parts. Part 1, I'll explain the method. Part 2, I'll walk you through the practical steps. But one quick note before we begin. If you skip Part 1, you won't be able to do Part 2. So please watch or listen to the whole thing, okay? And don't worry, I'll explain Part 1 as clearly and quickly as I can. All right, let's get into it. Part 1, the explanation. Do you know why it's so hard for us to stop a bad habit? I mean, we know exactly what we're doing, right? We know that spending recklessly will leave us broke and with no savings. We know that eating too much can make us overweight. We know that playing games all night wastes time and drains our health. We know all of that, and yet we still do it. Why? Here's the reason. Pay close attention to this part. Inside our brain, there are two key regions we need to talk about. Of course, the brain has many parts, but these two are especially important. The first region is the one responsible for emotions and rewards. It's called the hypothalamus, or VTA, ventral tegmental area. The second region is the prefrontal cortex, the part that handles planning, decision-making, and goal-directed behavior. To put it simply, this is the rational part of your brain. So, to sum it up, the first one controls emotion and reward. The second one controls logic and reason. Now, here's how it works in real life. Whenever you're tempted to do something, it's like these two parts of your brain start fighting each other. If the first one wins, the emotional reward-seeking part, you give in to the bad habit. If the second one wins, the rational part, you resist the temptation. That's the basic principle. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine it's midnight and suddenly you're craving something fried, something greasy and delicious. Midnight cravings hit hard, right? So here's what happens inside your head. The first part says, come on, just eat it. It's delicious. It smells so good. Don't think about tomorrow and just enjoy it now. That's your emotion and reward system talking. Then the second part speaks up. Nope, don't do it. Eating this late will mess up your stomach. You'll feel bloated, you'll gain weight. That's your rational brain. And there they go, arguing, fighting, yelling inside your mind. But usually, the first part wins. It wins big time. Because our emotional brain is almost always stronger than our rational brain in moments of temptation. Now you see the problem, right? So here's the key idea of this method. You have to find a way to make the second part, your rational brain, stronger than the first one. If you can do that, you'll not only be able to break your bad habits, but you'll also build the strength to resist any temptation life throws at you. And the practical steps we'll go through later will all be based on this principle. All right, so we're done with the explanation part. Now let's move on to the practice. In this section, I'm going to show you a practical method for breaking bad habits, based on the research of Dr. Wendy Wood. And of course, we've got to give credit where it's due, right? If something comes from someone else's work, we say it clearly. So this method is actually used in psychological therapy to help people eliminate bad habits. It has a lot of real-world applications, so you can trust it and follow along with confidence. Now, the original version of this method is quite complicated, so I'm going to translate it into something simple and easy to understand, with clear examples so you can really grasp it. All right, here's step 1 of the practice section. Pay attention to this. Well, step 1, you don't have to do anything yet. All you need to do is notice the time of day when you usually have your cravings. Let's just call it that for now. Because every bad habit has a specific window of temptation, a moment when the urge hits you hardest. like your craving time. And remember, just pick one bad habit for now. Don't try to fix everything at once. Focus on one. Then observe when you usually do that bad habit. When does it happen most often? For example, if your bad habit is playing online games, when do you usually play? Think about it. Just identify the time frame. That's enough. Or let's say your bad habit is impulsive shopping. When do you shop the most? That one's pretty easy to find. Just open your shopping app, look at your purchase history, and note the dates and times. You'll probably start seeing a pattern. And if your bad habit is late night eating, well, that one's obvious, right? It's always around the same time at night. So step one is simple. Just remember when you tend to do your bad habit, the specific time frame. Let me give you a real-life example. For me, let's say I love eating late at night. When I think about it, it's usually around 10:30 p.m. That's when I get those strong cravings, and I often end up ordering food. All right, so that's step one. Identify your craving time. Now let's move on to step two. Step two. If you remember from step one, we already figured out when our craving time usually happens. So now in step two, we're going to use that information. Let's say, again, that I know around 10:30 p.m., I'll start craving food, and sure enough, the craving hits. Here's the key, my friends. When that craving comes, you still eat. That's right. Don't fight it. Eat. Let the emotional part of your brain, the one responsible for pleasure and reward, win this time. But here's the twist. You're going to eat differently. You're going to eat with awareness. You still go ahead and do the habit, but this time you do it consciously. For example, as you're eating, ask yourself this question. What exactly am I getting from eating this chicken drumstick? Go ahead, eat, but think, because when your craving is being satisfied, your brain is much less resistant. So, eat. Take your time. But while you eat, keep asking yourself, what am I really getting from this? And then bring to mind the real consequences, the things that have actually happened to you. Like, my constipation keeps getting worse. I've been feeling short of breath lately. My belly's getting bigger. My insecurity about my weight hasn't gone away. Just keep eating, but think about those truths as you do, because it's very hard to overcome a bad habit by blocking it completely. So instead, we're turning the cards face up. We let it happen. But when it happens, we stay conscious of it. That's all. Just do the habit, but with full awareness. Right now, you might not notice any big change yet, but in reality, what's happening is this. You're quietly strengthening that second part of your brain, the rational one. And every time you do this, it gets just a little bit stronger. So you still ate that meal, right? That means the emotional part of your brain, part one, won over the rational one, part two. But this time, something new happened. For the first time, part two actually got a chance to show up. It got to speak, even during your craving. Pretty cool, isn't it? Congratulations, because before you never even thought about it in those moments. When you were in the middle of doing your bad habit, your rational mind wasn't anywhere to be found. At best, it only showed up after, when the guilt kicked in. But during the habit itself, not a chance. So this time, really, congratulations. You actually gave your rational brain a voice. Now I want you to make a little achievement board for yourself. And every time you give your rational brain even a tiny chance to show up, even if it loses, put a green check mark on that board. Celebrate that. Remember, every single time you do a bad habit, and your rational brain, part two, gets a moment to step in, no matter how small that moment is, you've earned yourself one check mark. Okay, so here's your next task. Try to collect about 5 green check marks like that. Of course, the more the better. But for now, let's just aim for 5. Now imagine another day comes. Same bad habit. Let's say it's 10:30 again, and your food craving hits. Go ahead, eat if you want to. Don't hold back. You've tried to resist before, and it didn't work. So this time, just allow it. But just like last time, as you eat, keep thinking. Think in as much detail as possible. Recall the memories, the consequences, the experiences that come from that bad habit. Keep your mind active while you're doing it. And sure, maybe this time too, part 1, the emotional side, still wins. But guess what? Part 2 just got a little stronger. So every time you sit there and think while doing the habit, you can consider that a small victory. Now you've got 2 check marks. And if you want to go a step further during your free time, read about the negative effects of that bad habit. Because the more you learn, the more ammunition you give to your rational brain. Part 2. So by now I think you understand the method pretty well, right? Just keep doing this. And by the time you reach that 5th check mark, something amazing might start to happen. Your rational brain, part 2, will have grown strong enough to finally stand up to part 1. And for the first time, you might actually experience what it feels like to have the strength to say no to something you know is bad for you. You'll have the power to stop a habit that's been holding you back for so long. At that point, your brain will have changed. Not just temporarily resisted, but rewired itself. In simple terms, you'll have become a new version of yourself. So remember that goal. 5 green check marks. Work toward collecting them one by one. When you do, you'll start to understand what true self-control really feels like, and what it means to overcome something that's been controlling you. That's the essence of this method. And once you complete your 5 check marks for one bad habit, you can move on to the next one. Do it with awareness and keep collecting those marks. If you want to go beyond 5, do 10, 20, even more, but that's even better. The more green check marks you have, the stronger and more self-disciplined you'll become. I only picked the number 5 to make it simple, especially for those just starting out. With this method, you'll gradually cleanse yourself of bad habits, one by one, and your life will start to change, for the better. You'll be cleansing your own life in the process, so that's the full method for breaking stubborn bad habits. But don't worry, this is just the end of this lesson, not the end of the journey. As always, at the end of every episode, I'll rely on YouTube's smart algorithm. It'll automatically pick the next video that's most suitable for you, based on your watch history. That's YouTube's way of saying, hey, this one's specially chosen for you. So go ahead, click it, and keep learning.